All right, everybody, Joe Ray with Lowrider Garage. We're out here in the San Fernando Valley. The place of business is known as C&L Customs. The proprietor, the owner, the proud owner, we are going to meet right now. It's just not about the business that we're going to see in the shop. It's going to be about the business of lowriding. His life, we're going to get his story, and here we go. You know the man. He's going to introduce us to also his business partner. And when it comes to business and the experience, well, the life of being a lowrider and a legend, you've been around a long time and you have all these different experiences. From a car clubber, a car builder, a famous car builder. You've been all over the world, so to speak. You've worked on hundreds of cars. So introduce yourself, introduce your business of lowriding to us, everything you've done. Here we go.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to C&L Customs. My name is Chino. I've been working in cars since I was 19 years old. I'm 50 years old right now. That's my wife, the one that runs the business.
Hi everyone, my name is Yesenia Vega. I am his biggest cheerleader. Been with him since 2001 and his biggest supporter in all events.
So just starting from back in the days, we were doing hoppers since the 90s. We were known for the luxury hop. We broke about 10 different records. And by an accident, we built a car that they got really known. It's called Orgullo Mexicano. We took it the first time to a Portland show without knowing that the car would make history. That day, they told us that the car beat the current champion, which I had no idea what was that mean. And so after that, they told me we have point system, we have rule books and stuff like that. So right away, I made a phone call, I got a rule book, and I started reading everything. So that's how you find out what do you need to become a title contender.
So you know the point systems, the rule book, the whole thing, almost just as much as the judges do. When you first began, well, first of all, for everybody out there, and you mentioned this earlier, the hopping world and the car show world of lowriding are two different worlds, so to speak, and that's what you were into. You were into hopping cars.
Correct. That's a big difference, man. It's still a lowrider show. It's the same building, but when you have a hopper, you basically show up, you do your thing. If you win, you stay to get your check or your money, and if not, you can just literally load up your car and leave. So sometimes we not even got time to go inside the show and appreciate everything that it was people building cars. So when we start doing that, when the first time that we're going to a show, we were like, oh man, this is a different thing. That's when we build the car and start going to different things. And we got lucky enough to be in a bunch of different places. We've been in 4 different museums. I think the biggest museum, it was Peterson Museum and the Louvre Museum in Paris where Mona Lisa's at. And
You've been to SEMA too, Chino.
I've been in SEMA, which is it's not a lowrider event, but it's the biggest automotive show in the world.
200,000 people go there.
It's the biggest one.
Your first love, as you became a lowrider, and it's like 35 years you've been doing all of this, not just driving, flying plaque, proud member of the USO Car Club, which we will touch base on, but you've been doing this for 35 years. Your first influence ever before you just became a hopper, when was that day you woke up one morning and you saw lowrider?
I grew up in Pacoima, in the city of Pacoima in Amboy in Pierce. And I remember one day a candy apple red passed by to my neighborhood. And it's one of those cars that is like, man, something is different with this car. You know, something, it catches your eye. And at that point, I didn't know what was a lowrider. I didn't know what was 13s, hydraulics, candy paints, but it was a big difference. So I started asking around, and that was one of my friends' dad's car. So his name is Tito. He lives in New Mexico right now. So when I saw the car, I was like, man, that thing is different. And by an accident, I bought a 64 Impala. When my brother crossed the border, I bought that car so I didn't risk my brand new truck to get taken over. So I bought that car and I show up and I'm like, man, that's one of the most popular cars. And I was like, what do you mean, dude? Like, that's primary fenders and the doors from a different car. You know, it was so messed up. And he showed me a magazine. He's like, look, this is the most popular automotive in the lowrider industry. So I started looking at it, and almost on every page, you will see a 64. Or an advertise to a future. And I'm like, man, I think I got something that it will be okay. So I went to North Valley. I learned how to paint. That was my first car that I paint. And it was just a stock paint, a stock teal paint. But it was good enough to fly a plaque from Imperials back in the 90s. I was there for a couple years, you know, and a bunch of different rules and everything that they weren't the stuff that I was looking for. So I moved out of the club. Years later, when we were already competing, something happened between different clubs, and that's how I became a member of the USO Cadillac. And I opened my chapter back in, not 100%, but I think it was 2003 when I opened San Fernando chapter. So I've been a member already for almost 20 years.
Your car club, Kita was a very important father figure to a lot of us, but you were his right-hand man, so to speak, when you joined USO. I mean, the club is all about love, and I can see, I mean, you're a pretty cool guy. I've known you for a long time, but you got a lot of love in your heart. You have a lot of passion for low riding, but a lot of that passion, you spread it around with everybody, and that kind of like represents your club, USO.
That's what we got. When you make Kita, that's what you learn, you know what I mean? It's
Yes.
just, you get a bike, you know, you try to spread it around. Of course, the club changed during time. Before Kita passed, I was helping it with a lot of big decisions in the club. Right now we have a different CEO, which is doing an excellent job. Like I said, it changed a little bit, but to me, it's changing a good way right now. We're doing different things. We're on different years. But it's a really nice club. Wherever you go, we have people.
How many chapters in USO right now?
The last count that we have 42 chapters.
That's a business by itself. You have your business here that we're going to show everybody about what you do, because you're hands-on on everything for over 3 decades. That's hard to do. 2 different types of business. One, the club as big as it got, and the business as big as you got here. Because I mean, you've all the way up until now, you've helped in the building of Lowrider of the Year quite a few times already. So you own the Lowrider of the Year, and you're helping build one. So you're all over the place. Need to go outside. You got to show us more of your creativity you got here at your shop. All right, Chino, tell us what you do here. With all the experience you've gained way back in the days, when you first started, fell in love with your first lowrider, got a 64. It's popular, of course it is, 64s and lowriders. You got into the hopping game, went inside a show because you had some time for the first time, and then you become a champion lowrider of the year with your famous car. And from there, you just learned to do everything when it came to lowriding. So it wasn't so much hitting the switches anymore, which is radical, and that helped you build a radical car. But over all of these years since you won those big trophies 3 times, now you actually paint, you design. This is your shop. Explain to us what you do here.
We do everything from little beetle like that to complete custom title contenders, regular cars, and we do from completely frame hydraulics, fuel electrical engines, custom painting, with everything that starts basically like everybody else. The way we started painting is because my painter was lagging it. He wasn't ever showing up. He wasn't meeting the deadlines. So little by little we start we had to do it. There was no other way. And we start doing little things, you know what I mean? We start painting, we start modifying stuff. And then we got, like right now we got lucky to have a good team, you know what I mean? Like I have this guy right here doing my dolly. He's one of the best guys right here right now.
You do
really
frame offs, though. You do also insurance. Because there's no money in low riding. That's what they say. Doing low riders, it's a hobby or a passion for you, but
It's both. It's my hobby, my passion, but it's not like back in the days. The paint before used to be maybe $2,000-$3,000. Right now, if you're not paying $25, you're not getting in.
so now there's money in low riding.
Everything changed. It's like everything else. Everything goes up depending on your skills that you get.
So you got motorcycles, lowrider motorcycles, you got luxury cars, which we're gonna touch on. And you got your hands on this beautiful 62 rag in a unique color. You wanna tell us a little bit about the paint? And did the customer pick out this color? It's a special pearl on it, right?
Yeah, but I try to have the customers always involved a little bit in what we do. It is a different colors that the customer picked them up. He's the one that told this is what we want. And then we're still doing all the graphics and basically me and the artist is doing the golf. We get together to create different things. I don't like really wild stuff. I like it to have a taste, to look good.
All right, Chino. So over the years, you've seen all kinds of paint jobs. You've been involved in a lot of paint jobs. You have your own style now that you're looking at. This is a Classy 62. What's involved in this?
Well, I like my paints to look kind of subtle. I don't like to go like all over the place and get all crazy. And like a lot of people do graphics and they don't follow body lines or anything. So I kind of like to stay with the same. You know what I mean? Follow the body lines, make it look clean.
And for everybody out here that's looking at this color, it's like an olive avocado green with a pearl. And it's being pinstriped right now. In order to stripe it, you clear the entire paint job, scuff it down flat, and let the artist take over. He does his thing with his pinstriping, which is supposed to complement your paint. So you have to be careful on who you hire. But that's why the car looks duller in a satin finish, because when he's done with his artwork, you take this car and completely clear it.
Correct. That's exactly what you said. You paint it first, we clear it, we do all the graphics, we clear it again, we sand the flat, and then we let the pinstriper do his own art. And then we have to clear it again. So it's a step. It's a bunch of process. You know what I mean? It's not just paint and pinstripe and clear. You know.
So you have your style of paint jobs that you like you just mentioned. So you have to have a certain pinstriper complement your style.
Correct.
And there's a lot of them out there. So introduce us to your artist.
His name is Leo.
I'm LG, sign painter, pinstriper, gold leafer.
Graffiti artist.
Graffiti artist.
You went to all the schools, right? Graduated from all
started
of
off
them?
with graffiti, then went to sign painting, and from there went to...
And that all works, and that's how you got here, though, right?
Oh, that's how I made it here.
You do a lot of lowriders?
Yeah, mostly lowriders, a lot of parties.
You do a lot of sign painting.
Yeah, still a lot of sign painting, tattoo shop windows, barber shop windows, stuff like that.
Practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to any classes or anything like
I
that?
just kind of taught myself, just learned on my own.
Beautiful, man. And that's called talent. There you go, Chino. I mean, he's complimenting everything you've done on this car.
If you don't get somebody that is good, he
Right.
can literally fix your paint, or he can mess it up completely. That's the reason you have to get somebody that is good to make your paint look a little bit better than what you do.
Show us more about this car. This is going to be a contender. It's going to be in a few months, the Las Vegas Super Show on Labor Day weekend. So everybody, what you see here, Chino, you have your hands all over this car except for the upholstery.
We
Tell us a little bit more about all the customization.
we run all the electrical. We did a different type of electrical in the car. Now you see like all the switches is completely in the center console. We don't have nothing in the door panels. Like brand new car, this is a push start. All the windows, you see the windows on the sides, they're completely moved to this size, convertible rack. So we try to put a little bit of new things on the car without changing the classic look of it. You know what I mean? So we just put a little bit of modern stuff, all digital dash, all electronic, completely change disc brakes. Everything is different in the car.
What's the engine compartment look like?
The owner of this guy, he does engraving. His name is Ernesto Perez. And you can tell he does engraving. Everything is engraving on it. This car has engraving in the mufflers, bolts, like basically the whole thing, it will be engraved. Everything from inside, underneath the car is all chrome. Everything outside will be gold. All the moldings, wheels, antennas, everything that you see outside will be gold.
Wow. Tell us about the brand of paint that you use. I mean, you use, well, you're into urethane. House of Colors is out there. You have Tropical Glitz, our good friend Manny.
Well, House of Color is not for everybody. Eventually, with the time, we get to know that it's not just House of Color out there. We have completely a line from Manny, which is based in Miami, And we have our own line of candies. We have 4 different colors right now. We have a mix of our own metal flakes. We have our own resin kits. A lot of people have been using resin metal flakes. Now we have in our own resin, which is completely clean. It's not like back in the day they used to be a little bit milky.
What's special about this flake?
That flake is a mix of 3 different sizes. Which, normally you're required to buy a pound of this size to make it like that. Now you can buy a pound with the metal flake already mixed.
And there's another reason why lowrider paint jobs cost a lot of money. The artwork, the tape, the miles of tape and paper behind it. Is this your brand, your favorite brand of tape?
Yeah, that's MBS. That's my tape of choice, man. That's really good, and it's a really good friend of mine. I'm lucky to be a full sponsor from them.
You've been to classes before, Chino.
Yes, we do.
Exalta, you've been to Exalta classes. You've been, not that you needed them, but I mean, you get tips from every painter. You've been to different paint bashes. You've had your hands, like we've said, Lowrider Truck of the Year. Tell us about that one.
All right, that's Roy Arrowberry is the owner of that truck. It was 2004 Truck of the Year. And that's our famous William Mexicano. Been all over the place.
This is one of your panels you did?
That's what we do for the classes.
Right. You also worked on this one here.
That's 3-carat diamond, traditional car of the year for 3 years.
C&L Customs, 818-335-0856. You heard from everybody heard that you do just about everything frame off. There's your famous 3-time world champion. You also were involved with the earthquake.
Correct, that's the first Euro that it has a full frame with a full 350 engine fuel injection.
How long ago was that?
That was back in 2005, I believe.
And then you're also very famous when it came to building this car.
3-time Lowrider car of the year. That car was actually built the first time in Northern California, and then it went to Texas, and it didn't hit the title up to 2008. And then I took over 2008 up to now, 3-time Lowrider car of the year.
It could be said that Double Trouble is probably you and Bobby together, right?
Well, he's the owner. I'm just
Right.
the one helping him behind the scene.
Making his dream come true.
Right. And that's the tricycle, the last 2 times tricycle of the year from Lowrider.
And these are all your guns right here?
Yes, correct. I just paint a car.
Tools of the trade.
Everything. That's all I water.
So this car, you're looking at this beautiful 62. All you got to do is clear it. When you send it off to the upholsterer R&R, they take their magic.
Yeah, we have to I think about 2 more days of pinstriping.
Uh-huh.
I think I hope by tomorrow it will be done, and then it will be cleared and send it to get the upholstery done.
So looking at your shop, man, you got a beautiful candy red bike back here. You have memories right next to it. Of a 64 Impala, that's got to take you back all the time.
Yep.
Then this Volkswagen, this thing's on airbags too, huh?
Yeah, correct. Something a little bit different.
Back in the days, these were cool low riders too.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Wow. And you guys just got together this past weekend or so, Hidalgo, Texas, and promoted a pretty 2-day damn good car show. So, I mean, when I say that you do everything, you know, from car clubs, you're a car builder, your own personal car building, and then you win Lowrider of the Year, you build Lowrider of the Years. This is your home away from home. I mean, you come to work every day, this is your hobby and your love still.
When they say there is a hobby, I got lucky to get paid to do my hobby. I'm here all the time.
You are well respected in the lowrider world, especially with your car club, as you mentioned, with all the chapters. I mean, you were Kita's right-hand man. The club today is run by, you were saying the club today is run by a committee. There's just too much work, too much business to run a club of that
Yeah, the club today is run by
strength.
Jeff. With he's really picking up the club to the way it used to be before. He's doing a lot of work, and it's not easy to run a club that has 42 chapters. And he's doing a really good job, which is basically bringing everybody back to what we were back in the days.
But when it comes to, at the end of the day, if somebody needs to, they got to go to an encyclopedia, they got to go into the archives about the club, they need advice, you're always going to be there to guide everybody in the right direction. In that man's name, of course.
I think it's part of like working with Kira for so many years, so close to him. We don't really think in our own person. I mean, we think in overall. We want the club to do better. So everything that it has to do with lowrider, as far as clubs and shows and stuff like that, I pretty much the person that I get in charge of that, always with our regionals and our CEO. I mean, it's a whole combination. It's not a one-person job.
Your place of business, your business partner and backbone. We met your wife before. She's the one that supports you in everything you do, and then you also have another business partner. You want to introduce him to us?
Correct. A year ago, we started, he called me in to start doing classes, and that's how we become, into the business of doing classes and making our own materials. And that's his name.
My name's Pete.
Pete, what's happening, man?
How you doing, sir?
Krazy Customs.
Yes, sir. So we started doing paint classes, and we started learning the resin process. I learned through Salmanzana on the resin, and this whole bike is all resin with candies, also pinstriped and leafed by LG, and we kind of perfected a little bit on the resin, because for a long time the resin would leave a milky film in it, and out in the sun it wouldn't dance the same. So we worked with a chemist, and the chemist was able to make a resin for us that doesn't use the wax on it, so it eliminates that white film on it. And now it's available through Tropical Glyphs if anybody wants to purchase our Lowrider Paint Masters resin. And this bike belongs to Ron Fay from Techniques Car Club, and we shot it probably about a year and a half ago.
Wow. So with the new resins, they don't really orange peel up on you because of the buildup of materials?
Yeah, well,
The resin's known for that, though, that it won't do that.
Well, because you shoot a lot of flake on it, it'll still leave the orange peel, but you block it and take it off, and then a couple more coats of resin, and that flattens it out, and it's ready for your candies.
And they last longer.
Oh yeah.
Who did the murals?
The murals were done by Mr. Joe Hernandez in Bakersfield.
That is pretty nice work.
Thank you.
So you had classes, huh?
Yeah, me and Chino about a year ago started doing classes, and now we're traveling Hawaii, Florida, San Antonio. We're traveling all over the place doing classes and teaching the art of lowrider paint.
It's always best for painters not to practice on our own or their customer cars to learn.
Right.
It's better they go to class and they hone it down a little bit.
Yes, definitely. We work on panels, and then these are the half bodies we turn into lights, nice lamps for wall pieces in your man cave. And this is something me and Chino came out with. And these are some of the stuff we've done and students have done.
Paint has come a long ways, because you're going to talk about all the old urethanes, even the lacquers they used to check. The urethanes, all those clears back in those days had tint to them. So
Right.
you never would really see the real true color.
Right. And now if you look at the areas where there's silver on them, you could see straight silver. You're seeing the flake under there. You're not seeing that milky film that covers it.
It's the art of lowriding right there.
Yes, sir.
Right, Chino? And you have another close partner of yours, a good friend that you've known for a long time. And you have your artwork in his luxury Cadillac. You want to introduce us to him?
This is the first car that we paint with our own materials, And his name is Mo. He's the owner of the car.
How you doing, Joe?
Pretty good.
Lowrider Garage. This is my 78 Coupe del Valle. Paint by Chino with a little help from me. All with his line of flake. First car with that line of flake that makes with 3 size flakes. With a few body mods. Makes this car a little bit different.
So you got a candy, there's candy teals, turquoises, but he's got his own private mixes, so who knows what the names are for these colors, but beautiful. It's good to see a Cadillac out there, but you have modifications in this.
Definitely.
Because from this angle, we have an LTD just about. So tell us all about your modifications and why you do them.
75 to 77. Quarter window from an LTD. Just want to be a little bit different, kind of with the fastback look of the 78 roofs versus the square ones. Just want to be a little bit different. Got that idea and went with it. The trunk, got rid of the license plate opening, molded that, followed the body line, and kind of worked. Did the door handles as well with the Kindig Tesla style door handles. Firewalls molded straight versus the slanted look of the 70s. And again, just a little bit of mods.
You want to tell us about the murals?
The murals were done by Alberto Herrera, of my 98-year-old grandpa, still alive. Thank God we still have him. My dad's on the other side. But all the artwork's by Alberto Herrera.
How much more do you have to go in this? What's your next steps?
My next step's gonna be upholstery and the engine, obviously. Everything else, dial it in. Hopefully make it out pretty soon. Pinstriping, now just gonna get to the pinstriping pretty soon.
Can't wait to see that. That's a nice color for a Cadillac too.
Thank you.
So we're going to come to a close here with Lowrider Garage. We're down here in the San Fernando Valley. We pretty much have heard your whole story, your inspirations from building cars, award-winning cars. You're hands-on on everything. You have your own paint line. You're in a great, you come from a great car club, a mentor like Kita. It could be said that you've had it all, man. You've had all the right teachings in your life. And to this point now where you're at today, you could be said that with all your partners here, all the memories you have, that you are now the teacher. Is there anything out there that I know we missed? Because we're talking about a lifetime, 35 years for you, especially deeply involved in lowriding. That car that you have, Orgullo Mexico, 3-time world champ, you've toured it all over the country, you've toured it all over the world. The special one was in Mexico. Tell us about that.
Well, that was a special in a couple different apps. You know, that was the first time my family got to see what we do for living. So that was a big thing for us. You know, like my mom, my dad, my older brother, everybody in the family, my cousins and everything. And besides that, it was an automotive event. That was the International Book Fair, which is supposedly in the week. It brings more than 400,000 people to the event, which was a really, really big thing for us to do.
In Mexico. And the great thing about it is you went there just before your dad's passing, and he got a chance to see all those people take a look at his son's car. That has to be one of your great accomplishments, especially with the bondage you and your dad had.
Well, yeah, that was really good, man. That's especially for the family to see what you do. When they're only allowed to see through social media and stuff like that. For them to see it in life is a whole different thing, you know.
That had to be one of your most special awards, winning Lowrider of the Year, especially 3 times, coming from the hopping world. Is there anything else you would like to mention to everybody, especially for all the up and coming lowriders out there? Because there's a lot of kids out there that they're going to realize one day when they come out of their house, hit that sidewalk, walk to school, there's going to be a 64 Impala that's going to cruise by, and they're going to sell their souls to this type of life, like what happened to you. There's a lot of good in it. I mean, it made you a businessman, and it made you loved by everybody. Is there any advice you would give anybody out there watching this video today?
I would say whatever you like, just put your heart on it. You know what I mean? For me, that was a hobby, and it turned into everything for me. To me, this is my lifestyle, and I do everything that I do, vacations, work, take my family out, everything is above it to the lowrider lifestyle. So whatever you put your hands on it, you will do it.
And Chino, you've been all over the country too, to different car shows, all different kinds of lowrider car shows. Like we have mentioned before, you meet a lot of different people. People recognize who you are, and you are always well liked around the whole lowrider world. And the good thing about it is that you're still very young, man. You got a long ways to go.
Oh, thank you. I'm already 50, but I feel young and I feel good, I guess, because you like what you do. We never feel tired. You know? Like this past week, we left, me and my friend, we left maybe, it was close to midnight, finishing things, just to have the Cadillac ready and to have that 62, you know, like almost done. So I guess when you like what you do, man, it doesn't feel like you're working. It's not a regular 8 to 5, you know what I mean? We can be here all day long and we feel like we barely start.
That is cool, man. And as a leader, being lifetime and a leader in lowriding today, you got your partner here from a long time ago. You got your business partner. Your wife is your backbone. I mean, you got your preferred pinstriper, and then you got over 40 chapters of Uso Car Club and a great mentor that we mentioned before, Kita. Rest in peace. He's got a good man. I know you still got the reins to everything, but you have all of this only, Chino, because you are well loved. And that happens to be all the great paint jobs and everything you do, that you can do just about anything inside your place of business. Your biggest talent lies because you're a good person, man, sincere. Keep on doing that. That's how you spread the good image of lowriding out there, man. You are blessed, my man. God bless you again. And thanks for being with us.